we could segue from your Z, Sam, to my Z, because
Yeah,
I've got
perfect.
this
Let's
Z
do it.
in the garage.
Let's do that.
Oh, the 50th anniversary.
Yes, yeah. So I've got this one that got dropped off this morning by the lovely folks at Nissan.
Oh,
So
you're scoring cars from them now.
yes, it took only I think how long, Taro? 18 months, something like that.
No,
But we're,
it's like 8 days.
so I
You-
wish
You call them
I'm-
up and they bring it right
James,
away.
which one do you have? The black and silver or the red and white?
I've got this one.
Okay, the red and white.
Okay.
So, I mean, obviously, we're talking about a car here we've just discussed a little bit. It's been out since 2009. This, obviously, the 50th anniversary was announced back in April of 2019. Roll on now to 18 months later.
The Z34.
Yeah. So now we've got the Proto Z that's sort of stealing all the thunder from this car.
It is.
It is.
And
I almost didn't recognize the car. What car is this, James?
Yeah. So I mean, there's lots of pros and cons to this car. I mean, if you look at it from here, or probably the best example is if you look at it from here, as I showed this to my wife, she was like, "James, has something happened to the front of that car? Why have they got two different cars put together? Is that something like that?" And I was like, "Well, it's one way to look at it." But I mean, for me, this car is unusual. It sits between obviously the regular 370 and a Nismo. It's got some Nismo parts in it, not the parts that I'd want, like the engine. It's just got the regular engine, so it's down, but it's obviously got enough power than you need, no matter what. Some things that I will say, these wheels, what I consider to be maybe an acquired taste, one might say.
Yeah, they're cool. I don't mind them.
I'm just not a fan of the red. That's what I worry about.
Really? Why? It matches the paint job.
I think that that's going to be where you're going to curve your wheel, and that's going to be exactly where you hit it, and it's going to show up everything.
Okay. Well, you got to be careful, James, when you
Well,
drive.
I don't do that, but I just don't like I mean, if it was without the red, I think it'd look better for me, which is the silver and the black. That's from my perspective.
The Nismo rendering had the red rims too.
Oh, it did?
In Sam's report. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they usually have the red stitching on many things on the Nismo side.
Yeah.
I mean, the car
And you have a 6-speed manual, right, James?
No, I don't have a 6-speed
The
manual. Sam. I've got
automatic.
the 7-speed automatic.
Oh my God! Why even test ride this car?
I mean, look, Sam, it's rather either me. But I mean, let's be honest. The livery's a throwback to the BRE, which is fun.
Exactly right.
They've got to try and push something in as before. They've done nothing with this car over many, many years. The only thing it races is obviously in the Formula Drift series with Chris Forsberg using it. They've had to do something to tide us over before the Proto Z. So this is their last throw, and said, well, I'm guessing it doesn't cost too much money to do this and have the design team work on something and put it together, but then not too much that you have to disrupt the Nismo line to be able to do that, and you don't want to cannibalize those sales. So it kind of fits in between the two. I mean, I like the spoiler on the back. I think this is a very good angle of the car. The little duckbill kind of spoiler I've got going on. Obviously, if I was getting it, I'd want to get the 6-speed manual with the rev synchro match they have, to do a bit less of the heel and towing and just let the car do the work.
Oh yeah, I love that thing. I love that.
What does the anniversary? What is the difference between the stock 370Z and the anniversary Z?
You're looking at it. The
Well,
paint
what
and
is
all
it?
the little stitchings.
Brakes and what did you say?
Yeah, so it's got the brakes. I think it's got a little brake suspension, a minor suspension adjustment.
Okay.
And then obviously you've got the newer seats on the inside, which you've got the fancy stitching on. And this, which is kind of cool. I mean, this inlay says like Nissan 50 anniversary, which is nice.
Okay.
But the seats, and while they are nice, they're not as good as the Recaro seats in the Nismo version. I prefer the Recaros.
Okay.
Well, Recaros are expensive though, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why Nismo's more expensive than this. So I understand why. But I mean, it's just showing its age. Let's put it that way. But as I think in regards to this car moving forwards in 10 years and in 20 years, this car is going to be a collector's item. That's what I think. I think that this car.
There'll be very few of them for sure.
I mean, they're only selling what, 3,000, I think.
That's right. They're limited. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a collector's car going forwards in the future.
Yeah.
Mark my words. I think this, compared to a Nismo of the same year, will be more expensive than a Nismo. Very short in a few years' time.
Yeah, we'll see in Podspeed episode 3000 if
300. Tara.
Hosted by our kids. Yeah, so.
No, I'll still be here, Sam, kicking and streaming. But I mean, it's still a nice car. It's a good size. I like it because the size of the car, it fits nicely in the garage, rather than some of the longer ones, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, and obviously with the Proto Z being sort of based on this platform, it's a good size to go with. And it is nice on the inside, feels good, it feels snug. While it does have a CD player that I don't really need, and it's sort of back to basics where there's no big screens anymore. It's kind of unique. It's sort of a throwback car of sorts, which is why I think it will be a collector's item. While we make fun of it now a little bit, I think down the line, this will be the one to watch.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like these anniversary editions, you know, I think they grow in value like later on, as you say, like right now.
Especially if the car model continues, you know.
Yeah,
you know, for like 20, 30 years, 40 years. So, but the 50 years is pretty impressive, you know.
Yeah. No, it's because it's like a legacy project, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, you know, you buy it to go, you know, racing or anything. So I kind of understand what they did. You know, it's mostly aesthetics, you know.
Yeah.
More of a collector's item, right? You collect it, you put it away, and you know, you see it grow, you know, grow older.
Yeah. But I would say that I prefer the silver and black over the white and red.
Oh, me
my
too.
preference.
Yeah, me too.
I think someday I'm going to buy this car and restore it and put something in it and call it the Toro Z, not the Fugu Z. The Toro, which is even more expensive, you know. Toro Z. Yeah. Toro Z. Because it's red, right? Red and white kind of, you know, with the fetches. So, okay, it wasn't as clever as I thought it was.
that was one that was worked better in your head, Sam, as opposed to
I know.
out loud. Sometimes you got to think with the inside voice. Voice.
I could have refined a little better. Okay, cool, James.
Right. Cool, James.
Thank you very much. It looks like, and we can read the write-up on it. Oh wait, do we even have that site up yet?
Oh,
Carl?
we are working on it. I just like slacked my guys. They're like working on it as we speak. The blog on gtchannel.com will be back very shortly. And
features.
We're talking about days here. We're talking about.
Yeah, that's what you said last time.
Yeah,
but they will be able to read it on nobreaking.com, Sam. That's for sure.
There you go.
Where they can find
they
can find some great articles on the Miata RF and also the Lexus RX 450 hybrid and the road trip stories, which are the most recent ones on there.
James McKeown is like a multimedia. He's like the king of all. He's like the Howard Stern of just all media platforms. He's
everywhere. He's everywhere.